He won the silver medal yesterday for the Team World Championship. He is also the national winner in 2024. Coming from USA, des États-Unis d'Amérique, Nate Hodges!
Well, it only took him 13.5 seconds.
Yeah. So I mentioned in previous heats that they've been going for power, not speed. I think that's about to change with these next two athletes.
Yeah. I mean, we've noticed Ferry Swan. I mean, he is a former rookie world champion, and he has picked up the pace on his drivers in the last years. So we're seeing him really quick with the axe. Nate Hodges, well, I mean, that guy's a power packet all on his own. You know, just looking at his arms alone, you know, he's got the power to make this work. So let's see if the pace keeps up with him as well.
And if you're watching this at home, don't think your screen has been sped up. These guys, they have motors and they're about to unleash them.
Athletes ready! Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Wow, look at the pace of Ferry Swan.
Wow, 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 wow.
Holy smokes, Hodges isn't even standing up. He's just shooting from the hip on this one. He might get through there really quickly. Ferry Swan, Nate Hodges, and it's going to be Nate Hodges and Ferry Swan. Another close one between these two guys. Nate Hodges moving up into second place with an unofficial time of 15:08 and a personal best. Ferry Swan with a 15:84, also a personal best. Holy smokes, folks. The only guy who hasn't had a PB today is Mikko Dubitsky, and he wasn't as fast as he has been in the past. Unbelievable action.
You know, but looking at the expression on Nate's face, we'll go over a little bit of review after this on his underhand chop there.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
So an official 15:09 for Nate Hodges and a 15:51, good enough for second and third place. Now, what I was talking about, you didn't see the emotion from Nate. On the front side of his block, what I did notice is I think he lost his balance a little bit. Nate technically is typically he is like an RPM cutter. You see him, he's one of the only athletes in the world that does what we call clubbing. You see how he does not slide his hand. In theory, that is quicker, but you can see he's not balanced. I think he was just not quite having it there. And then on the backside, I think he missed that hit there and his second and third hit. I think he might have missed them a little bit, and he didn't open quite as much wood as he would have liked. So it took him 3 drivers to get that off, when I think he was only counting on 1 or 2.
And that's scary considering he's got a fast time.
Right, but it's all or nothing right now, and it's still good for second place. But you know, it can affect the flow for you if you come out and you don't cut. See that extra? See how it sat there?
Yep.
You know, and he knew. He knew that he didn't quite have it.
His face says it all.
Exactly, and you know, and that's where we see the difference between an Alexander Maurice coming out and having that feeling of you cut that blinding time you knew you were capable of, whereas Nate Hodges, he knew that he was capable of a 12 or a 13-second cut, and he comes out with a 15.
And let's take a look at the points after this first discipline, and let's take a look at the times and the amounts of personal bests. So that must be crazy. You know, you cut a personal best and then, then you're still in, I don't know, 4th position or 5th position because everyone else has also improved in that last year. Crazy.
Yeah, you know, and looking at the rankings there, I don't see a lot of surprises though. You know, it played out as was scripted. The rankings kind of came out. Your last 2 heats produced your top 4 fastest times, you know. So that's getting the wood crew and everybody doing the seating. Awesome job. But what we haven't talked about is what happens after these first 3 events and why all these points are so important.
Well, exactly, because in that first round, we have these first 3 disciplines, and then you have to have enough points because after that first round, we are going to eliminate 4 athletes and whittle it down to 8 that are going to go into the next round. But we got to get there first.
Yes, and now it's discipline number 2 of the 3 of the first round, and that is stock. So everything you need to know about the discipline and, of course, the tool, well, that's coming up right now.
And again, Mikko Dubitsky is just...
And I can only confirm what you're saying because I went to visit the US team in Switzerland on the training camp, and I've never seen anyone more focused than Nate. No way. He's so focused.
He's all business, eh?
Yeah, all business.
A couple of pretty close guys here as far as this is concerned in the tail of the tape. Mika Dubitsky's got a bit of an issue with the markings that they put on the block here. So our judges, Andy Hall and Radu Kasaku, will come over and just make sure that he's cool with the markings and everything so that they are aware of what's happening.
Yeah, he just wanted a little bit of clarification, you know. They get they get 10 centimeters in which to make this 2 cuts. And, you know, as the heats go on, there's multiple lines up there, so he just wanted some clarification to make sure he's not going to get any kind of disqualification and lose points.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws.
And those MS661 saws are almost always flawless starters, and the only thing that you can really do is make a mistake in how you operate the saw.
Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
An even start for both of these guys. It's looking very even for both of them. Oh, wow, look at that transition. But he's got a bit of a problem as he had a cutout. Mika Dubitsky with a 10.46 PB, and Nate Hodges is going to be very unsatisfied with that cut as he had to go back and recut that up. And hopefully he's got a complete cookie there and hasn't cut over the line. We'll find out when the judges have a closer look at everything here. And
oh, it looks good.
Andy Hall is not throwing a flag down on the play, so that's good. I thought he was reaching back there as well.
Again, that's exactly what we talked about, you know, like just
that frantic movement.
Playing too close to the
Okay,
sun.
Congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Okay, well, that's at least one hurdle that Nate Hodges has gotten over here. The time, not so fantastic. He's sitting in 8th places in the stock saw right now. Mika Dubitsky is in 4th place, so he's in the middle of the pack here, putting him in 3rd, 4th place in the overall standings as well.
Exactly. And now you say it's a hurdle he went over, but Nate Hodges definitely just ran straight through that hurdle. You know, but
he got a great picture in my head.
He got his, and it still wouldn't hurt him. He's a ball of muscle, that boy. But you know, like, that's going to be a hard one to come back from. We haven't had any DQs so far, right? So right now, Nate Hodges sitting in last place in the stock saw. And, you know, now it really is going to put the pressure on him going into that standing block. And we'll see, yeah, as we see the close-up there.
On that cutout, hey?
Absolutely, but he did very good to get that cut in there still with a complete disc.
Yeah, it's a great reaction if you ask me, but still costly.
Great recovery, absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, he had the presence of mind to notice. A lot of guys would have just kept cutting that.
Because he was like 1/3 of the cookie already up?
Absolutely, and the way that he knew, an experienced competitor like Nate, the pressure, it would be moving too quick. Right? The saw would be moving too quick because it's only cutting 3/4 of the wood, and he would have felt that because he wasn't looking over the side of the block. I don't think he saw it visually, but you know, that's where his experience did come through because he felt it going too quick.
But you did see him glance around the corner when he realized that, and then he's like, oh, got to make a change.
So it's time to take a look at the rankings. First, stock saw discipline, and then, of course, the overall ranking, because this is what it's all about.
And there you see it, you know, like our first heat, Jack Jordan, Ben Cumberland, those were our first and second places, and that's, like, you know, awesome for them. That is not what the rest of the field wants to see, is those two, like,
oh, no.
those are two of the big dogs up there, right? And them taking first and second place in the stock saw.
What's happening, Troy?
No, I was just going to point out that the bottom 4 guys, we got some pretty strong competitors down there. Red McConnell, Armin Kugler, Alexander Maurice. I mean, obviously, Christoph Geisler is not going to be seen in the competition anymore, but the remaining 3 there, they are literally on the bubble, so they have to have a solid standing here in order to get back up into the mix. And we mentioned this is probably one of the strongest fields we've had in the history of the individual world championships, because it's really, you throw a dart, hit them a name on the board, and you could have a winner here. It's fantastic. I love it. The action is just hot.
But I think the biggest story coming out of that stock saw was Nate Hodges.
Yeah.
You know, one of the favorites coming in, but we talked about it, you know, he likes to dance in the flames there, and it bit him on this one, unfortunately. Yeah. So we'll see. Like, he is one of the best standing block cutters. He cut the standing block for the States in a couple races. He has in the past. But if anybody, like, he's got a shot to win this standing block, and he knows that he's going to need those points going forward. So expect a blistering time.
And you'll see exactly why when he gets on the standing block, because he is a beast. I didn't see the high mom mouthing words. All right, up next, standing block chop heat number 6, the final heat against, here we have Nathan Hodges against Cody Steers.
Nate Hodges having that unfortunate, having to go back in his stock saw. And, you know, he knows he has to go here now. So we'll see if that plays to his benefit or if it's going to be his downfall. But Cody Steers, calm, cool, collected. This is one of his best events. And I think he knows overall he just needs to go out and put a cut in that he's potential of and grab some points and move on.
Athletes ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Cody Steers getting into it with pace right away. Nate Hodges, the power packet, going at it as well. He is angry at that block. Both of them moving over to the second side, pretty much even. Nate Hodges picking up the pace. Cody Steers looking good. Oh! 12.48 personal best by Cody Steers. He will take second place just behind Ben Cumberland there. Nate Hodges with a fantastic 14.33. That's not a personal best for him, but that jumps him up into third place in the standing block chop results.
And that just goes to show you what kind of a cut Ben Cumberland put down in that standing block. There was nothing more Cody Steers could have done. He cut that block. That was his plan. He went out and he cut that exactly how he intended to. I didn't see him stick one time. But, and man, just insane. Whereas Nate Hodges.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
So 8 personal bests in that standing block chop. Nice. This is unbelievable.
This is where it's going to get interesting now, folks, because we had a couple of bubble athletes there, and we'll only find out who is going to be moving on to the next round once we get a look back at the results. But first, let's have a look at these slow-mos. Yeah.
Both of these athletes putting 8 hits in the front, both seasoned standing block competitors. Just each hit chasing the other. Cody Steers, amazing cut. And he doesn't have the haircut anymore, but he definitely did what we call the mullet cut here. You know, he did the business in the front so he could go around and he could party on the back, as you see that man. Absolutely destroying that block. And you know, you see the look on his face. He thought he had it. He thought he had that standing block in the bag. That's how good he cut that. But looking at the times, I think the times have actually been readjusted, and they have given the win in that standing block to Cody Steers.
They have.
They've gone back and reassessed that. So Cody backing themselves. And,
just to clarify why that happens, ladies and gentlemen, is because we have 4 timer buttons out front with actual physical human beings pushing buttons, and then we have our timer at the competition control center that makes the final and
now we have
change.
The overall standings, and that of course means the top 8 are going to proceed to the second round, and we have to say goodbye to 4 athletes. We knew about Christoph Geisler, that he wouldn't be part of this, but Danny Martin, the bronze medalist from last year, he has not made it to the next round, and that is going to be a big, big disappointment.
Yeah, and Alexander Maurice as well is out, as along with Armin Kugler. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about this field. It is incredibly strong, because normally we're seeing a guy like Danny Martin or Armin Kugler almost perennially making it to the second round with ease.
Wow.
But we've got 2 more very fast single soars coming up right now.
Now we know that Ferry Swan does a lot of training with Hans-Ove Hansen, who was an absolute fantastic single sawyer in his day when he competed. You know, I see that Ferry Swan is probably going to be one of those guys, if not already in the future, will be the man that everybody looks to for the single saw and speed.
Absolutely, as we let these guys get their set in, allowed on top there. Now Nate Hodges has got pretty much a brand new single saw from JP Mercier out of Canada. And we don't see many guys do this, but he actually posted his test cuts when he got his brand new saw. Now, in his video, he was able to cut this log in 9 strokes.
Wow.
If he was able to do that at just over a second per stroke, that puts him on world record pace. So, you know, he's got the equipment. Let's see if he's got the discipline to just let this saw run to its potential. You can see the determination on his face, though. He knows he's got to go if he wants that world title.
Yeah. There is the perennial swing from the lower hand from Ferry Swan.
Stand
Here we go.
to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
right away, Ferry Swan gets using the entire length of that saw. Nate Hodges, wow, the pace he's got going on. This is looking good for both of them. Ferry Swan getting close to the bottom. Oh, yes! Nate Hodges with a personal best, 11.91. We'll see an adjustment there as well.
13 strokes on that one.
Yeah, it was, you know, like, he wasn't using the entire saw. Now, I know that is kind of his style. Whether or not it kind of pays off, but, you know, that does put him in first place currently, but we'll see if it's enough. You know, you've got some very, very good single sawyers still coming up on stage, and you can't let any points slide, as we saw some people eliminated in the first round. And as we'll get the decision here, it doesn't look like any infractions.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
11.74 there from Nate Hodges, your new leader, as we'll get a look at some of the slow motion. Now, we didn't see any hang-ups on this one, so a lot smoother from both competitors. And, you know, as we go through the heats, they kind of have ranked these competitors. So as you go further in the heats, you will see the guys that technically have better personal bests. So, again, that does pay to be in that higher, you see something on that video.
Yeah, pay attention to the finger, the index finger on the right hand of Ferry Swan. He runs it along the edge of the saw, and I believe, if I remember the conversation we had one time, he does that in order to remind himself to keep the saw in line and flat.
Obviously, yeah, of course. And what it also does is it loosens your grip on the saw. Because all of a sudden, if you try to overgrip and muscle that saw, what it actually does is it actually twists the handle. Anybody that's played any kind of a racket sport, like golf, baseball, tennis, the harder you try and hit something or grip it, it just throws off the whole trajectory of it. And chopping and sawing is absolutely no different. You need a firm, calm, relaxed grip. And that's exactly what Ferry Swan did there.
And so we're going to jump out to get the overall results, but first we're going to take a look at the results of the single buck here before we move on to take a look at the overall results and how that's going to change the situation for us as well, because we're coming up to the next discipline, which is the springboard, which for me, I mean, they call the hot saw the maker or breaker. But for me, the springboard is a bit like that as well. But let's talk about that in a second. We'll take a look at the rankings.
So here we have it officially. Ben Cumberland winning that single buck in a time of 11.57. Nate Hodges doing a great job. And that's the overall standings at the moment. Sterling, any surprises for you?
I mean, no surprises necessarily, but the tail of the tape showing us here, the cream is starting to rise to the top. You see Ben Cumberland taking a 4-point lead over Jack Jordan. But both of those guys starting to separate themselves from the field, and both of those guys are also two of the best springboard cutters in the world as well. So it's not what the rest of the field's going to want, is letting those guys get away from them going into another strong event of theirs. But look for Nate Hodges to make a push in this springboard as well.
And we've got a great stage crew that we just saw preparing everything for the athletes.
Yeah, sometimes these stage changes can take up to a half an hour, but they really got this down to a science here for the World Championship. Ferry Swan holding the national record at 46.71. Nate Hodges 41.26 is his personal best.
And that's his personal best on national and international timber sports events.
New springboards for Ferry Swan as well. Haven't seen these before.
Yeah, well, those have been crafted by Ferry Swan. Excellent. They're actually like a distributor and a manufacturer of aluminum products, and they said, hey, can we try and innovate some gear for you? Now, it's not something you'd want to be buying over and over again. They put a lot of research and development. They built them, rebuilt them out of aluminum, and what that does is it gives you more structure to your board. They call it springboards because you'll see those wooden ones actually do flex. Ferry Swan's boards do not flex.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to with that bridge setup.
Well, exactly. It gives you a firm base to chop off, enabling you to generate a little bit more power and have more balance.
Gentlemen.
And he already used them at the Swedish Nationals, so he must be already used to them.
your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, the guys get into it to try and get those perfect pockets set up. Ferry Swan was quick with that first board, gets up there. Oh, yeah. Look at that thing, barely moves at all. Oh, a little bit of sag for Ferry Swan as that nose starts to bite in. Nate Hodges getting that board in place on number 2, and he is up and about and ready to go. A little bit of sag on that board, so he's probably going to want to be in a bit closer to the tree itself as Ferry gets up there, and he's got a nice second board as well. And now Ferry Swan will get started on that top block here. And you can see absolutely correct what you said there, Sterling. That thing is not moving at all. Stable as can be. Hodges is on the second side of his board, block at the top, though, with a bit of a saggy board. Doesn't care at all. 43.01 is Nate Hodges' time. That puts him in the top spot. Ferry Swan getting close to it here. Oh, he's got a bit of a sticky one on that side. And he is really struggling to get that thing done. And he finally does it in 59.55, just shy of the 1 minute mark, which will put him down in third place.
There
will be adjustments, though, yeah.
There will be adjustments, and, you know, not the best cuts that those two guys were capable of. You saw Nate. Nate had to put an extra, he put an extra hit in his top pocket, but it wasn't, he needed just a little bit more. He might have rushed it just a little bit, didn't have the angle, so you saw the sag on that board, and he still cut 42.7 seconds after the adjustment. But you know what he could have done if everything had gone to plan on those boards, as we get the call from Judge Andy Hall.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Both cuts are good. You see the head nod, both of them knowing it's not exactly what they needed. It's enough for first place right now, but you've got a few more amazing springboard cutters coming up in the next few heats here.
Yeah, Nate Hodges has a redeeming run there.
And he definitely needed those points.
He did need those points, absolutely. Watch out, cameraman.
Still in the mix.
Wood flying your way.
Things are heating up.
Things are heating up. You can say that again.
All right, springboard result. Nate Hodges with the fastest time of 42.73, but Ben Cumberland and Jack Jordan right there in the mix with a 49.71 and 49.82. And Jack Jordan's personal best was great for him, but look at what it's done to the overall standings.
Like mentioned, 6 points lead for Ben Cumberland. Jack Jordan in second place with 55 points. And Nate's still there in the mix with 52. I think that's the top three that
big jump up for him as well.
That's definitely all the
gold.
positives that we took away. But, you know, as we talked about, we're unfortunately going to have to say goodbye to a couple athletes, I think.
Yeah, and let's take a look at who those are going to be here. I think we know that it's Cohen Martins and Red McConnell are going to be dropping out of the competition here as we take only 6 athletes into the hot saw. As we look at the single buck and springboard and then the hot saw.
Ferry Swan making it. Cody Steers, of course, but the top 3, Nate Hodges, Jack Jordan, and Ben Cumberland. I think these 3 are going to be fighting for gold, fighting for the crown.
That's the points difference there, isn't it?
And Sterling can't sit anymore. He's way too excited.
No, I'm literally sweating. I cut every single swing of every single block all those guys did. And Nate Hodges was, I believe, the last one to come up and hammered down a 4.7 to take home his first U.S. championship. So he has the ability to you know, put himself in that hot seat in a position to take home this world championship still after a few events not going his way. And I know USA's Adam Lethko, our current world record holder, is going to be watching this heat extremely closely.
Yeah, 4.79 personal best. That's a solid time for him, given that the world record is 4.62.
Crunch time.
This saw is an absolute beast. Nate's told me when he runs it, it'll basically take whatever you can throw at it. As hard as you can push down, as hard as you can pull, that saw will handle it. It's basically like trying to ride lightning.
And it's
What
loud
have you
as
saw?
Oh,
As a motor, absolutely. But just a beautifully designed saw. You can even see when it's warming up, like the amount of power that thing is generating and very little vibration. You know, the amount of time that Nate and Dennis Cahoon and others have put into this saw for Nate Hodges to be up here on stage, everything has been balanced, machined, hours have been put into the chain. The amount of hours that Nate has put into training, all leading to this
30 seconds warning.
Interesting use of the exhaust as well as a stand.
Absolutely. You'll see a lot of them do it because the closer you can get that to your hands, the faster you can be to the wood. You know, you've got these components to it. Your start, how quick can you get to the wood? your transition from down to up. And then after that, it's just grip it and rip it and ride it all the way home here. Nate Hodges.
What's that?
In case he needs to sharpen his nails.
Athlete, ready!
It's his lucky
Stand
file.
to
never know
your
when you might need a
timber.
good rasp.
3, 2, 1, go!
Start into the wood, good. Going for it.
Oh, that's a nice cut. 5.48, not his fastest time, but a solid cut for him today.
Well, we got to wait for the adjustment on the time, though. That time is unofficial. Judge is going to have a look. It looks clean from our angle, but Judge Andy Hall going to get down there, double check. As we said, they're given, I believe, 15 centimeters to make 3 cookies. They cannot cut over the blue line the judge has put down there.
And if the time is confirmed, he's gonna go to the hot seat. Oh, is it under review?
I don't know. I see a lot of okay.
There's a flag on the play. Oh,
I can see it quite close there. Quite close.
Oh, no. Now I'm wondering what they're reviewing. I mean, it's a video review by the looks of it, so it might be because of the start, or maybe a finger over the line, or not over the line.
In my point of view, a late start, so that I don't think that's an issue. But maybe, like you say, finger over the line.
Yeah.
Encouraging the crowd now, Nate.
Well, at this point, he's done everything he possibly can. Now you just got to sit back. So they might be looking at the hands to make sure it wasn't a jump gun, or to make sure that all of his fingers were across that line.
Look at his thumb on the left hand. Oh,
a thumb is not a finger, Troy.
You're very funny.
But it should be noted, all they have to have is all 8 fingers over the line. But I think that's what they're looking at. But a very quick decision. So that's either a very good or a very bad thing.
All right, let's find out what Andrew Hall has to say here.
So we had to make a video check for a potential full start. However, the cut is good.
Boy.
The relief. The relief.
And there it is, our first lead change now. Nate Hodges sitting down comfortably. That is the best and the worst seat in the house, man. Like, your fate is no longer in your hands. You just got to sit there and watch it all unfold. Only thing that seat's missing is a beer fridge. As we see there, beautiful cut. Great start. Putting everything you can into that start. Big, deep breath. Just a slight pause, line it up, and then just let her eat. 430 cc's of just raw horsepower. Great transition, and right about here,
close,
you start to sweat. But to his credit, it was a nice square cut, and he had real estate up top there.
And he just has to go straight down in this one to make sure he doesn't go over the line. But boy, did he ever come close at the bottom of that cut, hey?
Nothing like
that's like on the line, hey.
Man, give that cameraman a raise. Sawdust flying. You can see the look on his face, the adrenaline. You're just hanging on for dear life at this point. Hey, where am I? What happened?
Look at those arms.
That's the face of you're darn right.
All right, so for the moment, Nate Hodges holds on to that hot seat. His support structure is there. He just needs to have the time of his life because his personal best is 9 and change. So he's got to have a cut that's 6.69 if he wants to win this World Championship here. With Nate Hodges currently at 67 points. Jack Jordan and Ben Cumberland tied for 61 points here, with Ben still the cut. The pressure is on, and
look at Nate.
Yeah.
That's a pretty intense stare he's got going
30-second
on.
warning.
We're all there with you, Ben. Going through his last checks. Got everything he needs. Gonna see him reposition his feet here.
Oh man, I'm nervous.
Yeah, same here, same here.
I am jittering here.
There we go.
This is one of the closest finals we've had in a long time.
Here it is. This is the last dance.
Ready.
Here we go.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start. Disc on the ground. 2 discs on the ground. Lines it up.
Oh, no! I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough.
Was it a complete disc?
Incomplete disc. He knows right away what's happened to him. Not what you want to see.
No.
Judge is going to have a look. It does look. He's out of real estate.
He's cut out. He's cut out on that 3rd disc.
But.
Interesting though, because
I'm looking at my scoreboard here, but
he's tied with
a DQ
Nate
is
Hodges,
0 points.
But it's 0 points if he's got a DQ. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, it's a DQ. It is a DQ, I'm afraid.
Oh, no.
So we have a disqualification for an incomplete cookie.
Oh, no. That is a heartbreaker for Ben Cumberland.
Not how you want it to end, but what that has done, brought him back from the dead after an abysmal stock saw cut, cutting out. Nobody thought I had a chance. Nate Hodges, USA's Nate Hodges, I believe, has clawed his way back. So we take a look back here at what happened for Ben. Beautiful start.
Do you think he could have gone back to...
No, that's a thick first cut. A very thin second cut, and then you
he
don't see
for
it.
He waited a long time, and then he had the cutout here at the bottom.
From that angle, it's hard to tell. We might get a front-on view, which will enable us to see kind of the angles that he was cutting with, but, you know, he knew right away. Huge first disc, very hard to recover. Oh, and the disc actually tapped. Oh, and he had the room. He had the room, but he didn't have the room up top.
It was just the angle, huh?
Just those little things.
Oh my word, how much drama can you take?
Unbelievable.
The maker or the breaker, the hot saw. It's
well, there was a breaker for Ben Cumberland here today.
So close to winning this. There we go, the sick. And he immediately knew, yeah. So let's talk to the champion. Let's talk to Nate Hodge.
You?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
For me, it's okay. You are the new world champion for the STIHLTIMBERSPORTS. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Hodges, congratulations, man. How happy you are now.
It's going to be hard to find the words how happy I am. You can't even put it into words. Everybody around me, they know how much work I put in to get here. It's a tough road with the best in the world, so.
Il est super content parce qu'il a travaillé pour être là. Il y a eu du monde autour de lui pour le pousser vers cette victoire. One question about the city of Toulouse. Is the city of Toulouse help you to win tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Look at this crowd. I mean, this is the best crowd I said this last night, but it's the best crowd I've ever been to, ever seen in a timber sports event in my career, in my life. Yeah, absolutely.
Il vient de dire tout simplement, mesdames et messieurs, que sans vous, il n'aurait pas gagné. Et vous êtes vraiment le meilleur public de tous les TIMBERSPORTS, de STIHLTIMBERSPORTS. Bravo à toutes et à tous. Do you want to say something, I don't know, to your family in the United States of America, family, brothers, sisters, I don't know, to your family or friends?
Yeah, you know, there's a long list there. If I want to thank everybody, we'd have to sit down for a while. But I thank my wife up in the crowd right now. She's got my back 100%. My kids, my family at home, everybody, I love you at home. They all have my support. Dennis Cahoon with the hot saws. I've got Greg Brewer with race chains. Guys out of the U.S. with race chains that have my back. Rob Spry and JP Mercier with the best crosscut saws in the world. I'm probably leaving people out, and I apologize, but you know, I've got a heck of a pit crew behind me.
Il a beaucoup de personnes à remercier, mesdames et messieurs. Du coup, il remercie sa femme qui est là-haut, tout là-haut dans les tribunes, ses enfants qui sont forcément en train de regarder, de le soutenir, et toutes les personnes qui l'ont poussé, qui l'ont soutenu, qui ont été là pour qu'il soit champion du monde, mesdames et messieurs. Toutes et tous ensemble, un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour Nate Hodges!
So there we have the final ranking of the hot saw. Ferry Swan with the best time of the day. Nate Hodges in second, and Cody Steers with the third fastest time. Tough luck for Ben Cumberland, an incomplete cookie, giving him the DQ. And now we have the final result. It's official. The STIHLTIMBERSPORTS Individual World Champion 2024 is from the United States and goes by the name of Nate Hodges. Congratulations.
Jack Jordan still showing well, second place. He'll have the silver medal. And I mean, even with the DQ in the hot saw, Ben Cumberland's got himself the bronze medal, so he can be proud about that. And that's going to give him something to work on for next year, because I'm guaranteeing you we're probably going to see Ben Cumberland on that stage again next year. The way he performed this year, it was lights out up until that hot saw. And I think, I don't know, maybe it was nerves. He seemed calm throughout the day. Sterling, I mean, you can allude to this a bit more, but it seemed like he was very tentative at the hot saw, where he wasn't that way with any of the other disciplines. No, it's a very tough position to be put in when everything comes down to that one event. And there's just so many factors in the hot saw, you know, and it's not like he is a great hot saw operator, but it's not his best event, you know. And this series now, so much of it comes down to that hot saw, and we see it time and time again, that hot saw basically helping decide our final results. That's why they call it the maker or the breaker. Yeah. Yep. And we're ready to go to the winners' ceremony. Off to Juan, back to the stage, ready to crown the champion of the STIHLTIMBERSPORTS Individual World Championship 2024.
Et à présent, mesdames et messieurs, vous l'avez compris, nous allons passer à la cérémonie de remise des médailles de ce championnat du monde STIHLTIMBERSPORTS, la compétition individuelle. It's time for the award ceremony for the STIHLTIMBERSPORTS Individual World Championship 2024. At the third place and winner of the bronze medal, mesdames et messieurs, troisième place et vainqueur de la médaille de bronze. Please give it up for the Canadian guy, Ben Cumberland! The bronze medal will be presented by Aurélien Join, Sales and Marketing Director, STIHL France, Directeur Marketing, Vente, STIHL France. Allez, merci encore d'applaudir Ben Cumberland. At the second place and winner of the silver medal, deuxième de ces championnats du monde, mesdames et messieurs, vainqueur de la médaille d'argent, is coming from New Zealand. Please, one more time, make some noise for Czech Jordan. The silver medal will be presented by Ingrid Jägering, Executive Board Member STIHL, membre du Directoire Finance, groupe STIHL. One more time, give it up for Czech Jordan! And now, at the first place, winner and world champion of the gold medal STIHLTIMBERSPORTS World Championships 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, he's coming from United States of America. Il vient tout droit des États-Unis d'Amérique. Merci d'applaudir très fort. Nate Hodges! And the gold medal will be presented by Xavier Lucan, French Southwest Branch Director Liber, directeur de l'agence du Sud-Ouest Liber. And now, the trophy will be presented by Alex Anton, General Manager STIHL France, président de STIHL France. Vous pouvez applaudir, mesdames et messieurs, parce qu'il est très lourd, le trophée. It's really heavy. You can make some noise one more time for the trophy of the World Champion 2024. You have to take the trophy in your arms, men. Is it possible? Yes, yes, yes. Nate Hodges! Oh yes, that's it. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, all gold medalists and bronze and silver medalists of Fritz.
Well, there you go, our champions on stage, and that is one massive, 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 I say it again, trophy. I don't know how Nate's going to have to transport. He's going to need like a freight ship to get it home and like $8,000 in transport costs.
Yeah, that'll fit under the seat on the plane.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Together with the hot saw, yeah.
You have to buy another seat for that thing.
He looked tremendously happy.
Thing, eh?
That is the face of like relief.
Yeah.
That is all the hours, everything you put into it being worth it.
There you go. Pulling the Captain Morgan
Allez,
again.
one more time, mesdames et messieurs, vous pouvez les applaudir très fort. Les 3 premières places de ces championnats du monde 2024. Le Canadien Ben Cumberland, le Néo-Zélandais Jack Jordan, l'Américain Nate Hodges.